नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेवा। आदिपराशक्ति माता की जय। समस्त सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। नमः शिवाभ्यां नवयौवनाभ्यां परस्पराश्लिष्टवपुर्धराभ्यां नागेन्द्रकन्या वृषकेतनाभ्यां नमो नमः शंकर पार्वतीभ्यां। कलाभ्यां चूडालंकृत शशिकलाभ्यां निजतपः फलाभ्यां भक्तेषु प्रकटित फलाभ्यां भवतु मे। शिवाभ्याम् अस्तोकत्रिभुवन शिवाभ्यां हृदि पुनर्भवाभ्याम् आनन्दस्फुरद् अनुभवाभ्यां नतिरीर्यम्। माता तु पार्वती देवी पिता देवो महेश्वरः बान्धवा शिवभक्ताश्च स्वदेशो भुवनत्रयम्। सदा शिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत् स्मरणात् भवेत्। हर नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेवा। आदिपराशक्ति माता की जय। समस्त सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। The embodiment of Karuna, Shri Parameshwara, has blessed us all immensely today with this satsangam once again, week after week, to listen to the greatness and glory of Lord Shiva through the shlokas of Shivananda Lahari, composed by Shri Adi Shankaracharya. The past few weeks, we have all been enjoying the meaning of the verses in Shivananda Lahari, where Adi Shankaracharya proves that mental disposition of a person is more important than the external factors. The internal factors that we have, the bhavam that we have, the bhakti that we have is of much more importance than the other factors outside. So, in the 11th shloka, Adi Shankaracharya sings, Vaturvagehi va yatirapi jativa taditaro naro va yah kaschit bhavatu bhavakim tena bhavati yadi yam hrit padmam yadi bhavadadhinam pashupate तदीयस्त्वं शम्भोर्भवसि भवभारं च वहसि वटुर्वा गेहि वा यतिरपि जटी वा तदितरो नरो वा यः कश्चित् भवतु भव किं तेन भवति यदीयं हृत्पद्मं यदि भवदधीनं पशुपते तदीयस्त्वं शम्भोर्भवसि भवभारं च वहसि. He says, Vaturva, this person can be a brahmachari. Gehiva, he can be a grihasthashrami. Yatirapi, he can be a sannyasi. Jativa, he can be a person with matted hair locks. Jativa, he can have long hairs. And for vanaprasthashramam, one of the criteria is that they must have long hairs. So, he can be a person who is following the dharma, the lifestyle of a vanaprasthashrami. Taditaro narova. He can be a person who does not follow any of these lifestyles, any of these practices, but he follows something apart from these, apart from those which are mentioned. He need not follow brahmachari, he need not follow the brahmachari ashramam, he need not follow grihasthashramam, he need not follow vanaprasthashramam, he need not follow sannyasa ashramam. He can also be an atyashrami. He can be a person who does not follow any of these things. He can be a paramahamsa also, or he can be a person who does not believe in all these things. So, Vaturva, Gehiva, Yetirapi, Jativa, Taditaro Narova, Yah Kaschit Bhavatu. Yah Kaschit Bhavatu. He can be in any lifestyle. He can follow anything that he likes. Bhava, O Bhava, Yasmat Sarvam Bhavati. You are the source of this entire creation. So Yasmat Sarvam Bhavati. So you become Bhava. O Bhava, Kim Tena Bhavati. Because of this, what is going to happen? A person might be in any lifestyle. But why is that a criteria? It need not be a criteria. It is of no use to us. Kim Tena Bhavati. Yadi yam hrit padmam yadi bhavadadhinam pashupate. Hey Pashupati, hey Lord of this entire universe, you are the one who protects all of us. So, yadi yastvam yadi yam hrit padmam. If my mind, hrit padmam, this is like a lotus. Because in the previous shlokas, already Adi Shankaracharya has told us that we must offer our mind to Lord Shiva. And this is the best flower that we can offer. This becomes a lotus flower that we offer. So if we offer our mind, this Hrit Padmam, Yadiyam Hrit Padmam, Yadi Bhavad Adhinam Pashupate. O Pashupati, you are our Lord. You protect everyone, you control everyone, and if you control my mind, if my mind is at your lotus feet, and if I am able to bring it under your control, if I am able to bring it under satsangam, if I am able to tame my mind to constantly indulge in satsangam, then Bhavat Adhinam Pashupate, if it becomes your servant, if it becomes subservient to you, then Tadiyastvam Shambho, then you become his. He is not told that I become yours. If I give my mind, I ultimately become yours. But that is implied. When I give my mind to you, it is implied that I submit myself at your lotus feet, and when that happens, Tadiyastvam Shambho, you become mine. You become the property of that person who submits his mind to you. Tadiyah Tvam Shambho, you become his, you become mine. Bhava Bharam Cha Vahasi. Not only that, you not only become the property of this bhakta, but you become his. So, he becomes yours, and this is intertwined, and he gets mixed, he gets united with you, and so you take the responsibility of this bhakta. Bhava Bharam Cha Vahasi. You take up the entire responsibility of this bhakta, and you ensure that he is able to live in this world peacefully. Bhava Bharam Cha Vahasi. Tadiyah Tvam Bhavasi. Bhava Bharam Cha Vahasi. You take the entire responsibility on your shoulders, and you take this bhakta on your shoulders, and you walk on his behalf in this path. So ultimately he reaches you. So this is the message which Adi Shankaracharya gives in the 11th shloka. And he continues the same thought and same message in the 12th shloka. He says, Guhayam geheva bahirapi vaneva drishikhare jaleva vanhauva vasatu vasate kim vadaphalam Sadayasyevantah karanamapi shambho tava pade sthitam chet yogo sau sacha paramayogi sacha sukhi guhayam geheva bahirapi vane vadrishikhare Jalau va vanhau va vasatu vasate kim vadaphalam Sadayasyevantah karanamapi shambho tava pade sthitam chet yogo sau sacha paramayogi sacha sukhi. He says, Guhayam geheva. The bhakta can stay in a cave. The bhakta can stay in a house. Geheva. Bahirapi can stay outside. Vaneva can stay in a dense forest. Adrishikhare can stay in a mountain, can stay at the top of a mountain. Jaleva, he can stay in water, meaning he can hold his breath and stay in water. He can do Jalastambham and stay there for a very long time. Vanhauva, he can stay in the middle of fire. Middle of fire means that a person can light up fire in all the four directions, and he can sit in the middle of it. To add to it, to add to this pressure, or to add to the pain that he is undergoing, he can also sit under the sun. So that becomes the fifth fire. He is surrounded by fire in all the four sides, and he also has sun to roast him even more. So, Vanhava Vasatu Vasate Kim Vada Phalam. He can stay in all these places, but Vasate Kim Vada Phalam. What use does this person get? He can be in his house, he can be in a cave, he can be in a forest, he can be on a mountain, he can be in water, he can be in fire, he can be outside, he can be inside, he can be somewhere in between. What use will this person get? What is he going to gain? What is he going to attain in this world? Sada yasyaivaantah karanamapi Shambho tava pade sthitam chet yogo sau. He says, Sada yasya antah karanam Shambho tava pade sthitam chet. Sada antah karanam sthitam chet. Sada, always. Antahkaranam, everything in me, my own self, if I am able to submit antahkaranam, sthitam chet, if it is there, if it is constantly present, where? Shambho tava pade, if it is constantly fixed in your lotus feet, then this becomes a yogam. Yogo sau. Yogaha asau, this becomes a yogam. So he says, Yasya antahkaranam sada tava pade sthitam chet he Shambho, this becomes yogam. If a person's mind is constantly fixed upon the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, then this is a yogam. We need not go in search of difficult path. We need not go to classes. We need not enroll in classes. We need not do yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. We need not learn all these things. All these are for us to control our mind, and if we are not able to control our mind, then what is the use? Many people enroll for yoga classes. There they are asked to close their eyes and concentrate upon certain things. They are asked to imagine a beautiful place. They are asked to imagine a place where water flows, where there is a mountain, where the birds are chirping, where we find many animals, where there is greenery spread everywhere. He is asked to meditate upon that because this is something which he can easily relate to, so that he is able to bring his mind under his control. This is called guided meditation. So there are many techniques, there are many things which are being followed, but the ultimate objective is to control our mind. If we ask a person what is ultimate happiness, if he's a normal person, he would say ultimate happiness is to earn money. Why are we studying in school? Why are we pressurizing ourselves to get good marks in 12th standard, in 10th standard? Because we have to get a better school, a better group in 12th standard, 11th and 12th. Why are we made to study in 12th standard? Because we have to get a better college. Why are we made to study in college also? Because we have to get a better placement. Why should we get a better placement? Because ultimately we will get money. Because that is going to give us happiness is what normal people think. So the ultimate end point, destination for this Laukika education, for this material education is to get money, is to satisfy our daily needs. So in the same way, the meditation that we all go through, the classes that we all go through is for us to control our mind. And when that is not there, then what is the use? Even if we give 1 lakh rupee, even if we give 1 crore rupee and get ourselves enrolled in this class, if we are not able to cope up, if we are not able to go along with their guidance, if we are not able to focus on what they are asking us to imagine, then what is the point of being there? very well I can stay in my own house and I can concentrate on things which I'm concentrating there. Even if I go there, after going there, I might think, oh no, I have given 1 lakh rupees for this course. What if it doesn't turn out to be useful? Or this course is for 15 days. What will I do on the 16th day? Oh no, this course is for 2 hours a day. In this 2 hours, I would have done something else. Or on the 16th day, what will I do for these 2 hours? These people are asking me to do it once I wake up and before I go to sleep. What will I do in my daily routine once I wake up and before I go to sleep? How do I alter all these things? How can I streamline all these things? All these questions will keep running in everyone's mind. This is something which is inevitable. And that is why controlling our mind is very difficult. And that is why Adi Shankaracharya has been quoting so many shlokas telling us to control our mind. He has given so many examples, so many circumstances to tell us that all these are not going to matter. If our mental disposition is good, if our mental disposition is favorable, then the external factors will not affect us. So, ultimate yoga, ultimate dhyana, ultimate meditation is to fix our mind in His lotus feet. By His lotus feet. This is because we must not have any ahankaram. Antahkaranam means everything that we have in us. This is a combination of mana, buddhi, chitta and ahankaram. Mana, mind. Buddhi, intellect. Chitta, thought. And most important, ahankaram. Namaha, Namaha, Namaha. We keep telling that because it means na mama. It is not mine. It is not mine. It is not mine. We should always be submissive and we should ensure that we don't get arrogance. We should not get ahankaram, because if we get ahankaram, then our mind will not be under our control. It will not be under the control of Lord Shiva, who will ultimately take care of everything that we want. So, ahankara should not be there. So this antahkaranam is a combination of mana, buddhi, chitta and ahankara. And we should constantly say Namaha, 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 Namami, Namami. I will always place my forehead on your lotus feet. I will always place my mind on your lotus feet. This feet, because I have no arrogance. I will place it at your feet because I feel that I am a small, minuscule in this entire prapancha. This world, this entire universe is so huge and I'm just a small dust. If this bhumi is a dust in this entire creation, then I am a smallest fraction of a dust. So I am nothing. I am nothing when I am in front of you. You are everything. I am Alpagnya, you are Sarvagnya. I am nothing. So I offer everything at your lotus feet. So this becomes yoga. And what is the real meaning of yoga? Yujyate anena iti yoga. When we unite with Paramatma, that is yoga. When we unite, when this Jivatma unites with Paramatma, that is the ultimate Kalyanam, that is the ultimate Mangalam. Yogaha aham brahmeti jnanam tadvan yogi. When we have this jnana that aham brahmasmi, I am that Brahman, I should get united with that Brahman, then that becomes yoga. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, Tam vidyad dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga samgnitam sa nishchayena yoktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa. This yoga must be constantly practiced by all bhaktas. When we are detached from materialistic pleasures and when we get attached to Bhagavan, this becomes yoga. And one must constantly stay in this, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So, this is the yoga that we get. This is the ultimate benefit that we get. There is a famous shloka which says, Sevamane dridha surye dishamantaka sevitam vihina tilakena stri nottara dik prakashate. A woman is considered to be the most beautiful when she has all abharanas and sindoor tilak. If she does not have that sindoor tilak, even if she has all abharanas, she will not be considered to be very beautiful. In the same way, if she has only sindoor tilak, and if she does not beautify herself with the other abharanas, still she will be very, very beautiful. So this sindoor tilak is compared to Dhrida Bhakti. When we have bhakti, when we have focus, then the external factors do not matter. We might be anywhere. This external rules will not matter to us. We need not know snanam, japam, tapam, karma, sankirtanam, yagam, yajnam, danam. We need not know all these things. If we know the Bhagavan who is seated in our heart, if we have the jnanam, atma jnanam, then that is enough. This is like the sindoor tilak which a stree has. Other things are all abharanam which a stree wears. So, this yogam of identifying one own self, understanding that he is in us, understanding that he is the one who is placed in us, will ultimately take us to him. So this is the yogam. Such a parama yogi, a person who does this becomes parama yogi. Not only that, he also becomes such a sukhi. He becomes the most happiest person in this world. Kathopanishad says, Eko vashi sarva bhutantaratma ekam bijam bahudha yah karoti tam atmastham yenu pashyanti dhiraha tesham sukham shashvatam netaresham. Ekaha, there is only one Brahman, Vashi, who controls everyone. Sarva bhutantaratma. He is the antaratma for all the bhutam. Ekam bijam. He is the bijam. He is the source of this entire creation. Bahudha yah karoti. He is manifest everywhere. He is in everything that we see around us. Bahudha yah karoti. Tam atmastham yenu pashyanti dhiraha. Those who see that Paramatma, those who see that Sarvantaryami, those who see that Sarvavyapi in them, those who see him in them, Tesham Sukham Shashvatam Netaresham. This becomes the Shashvata Sukham. This becomes the permanent happiness. And those people enjoy this permanent happiness. They need not go in search of external happiness. Internally they are always fed with happiness. And this is Shiva Ananda Lahari. This Ananda must keep flowing in us always. And this is that Sukham which we all have to experience, which we all have to realize always. And this will happen only if we focus, only if we dedicate ourselves at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. In Gita, Krishna says, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashihi nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. So he says, performing all the work, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. By thinking me, one must think about me, one must constantly meditate upon me and do all jobs. Nirashihi, that person will not have any desire, will become free from desires. Nirmamo, will be selfish. Yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. So, get detached from your results and yudhyasva, fight, do your job. Sanyasya adhyatma chetasa yudhyasva, meditate upon me, constantly offer the benefits to me. You will be detached, you will be relieved, you will be free desires and selfishness. Nirashihi nirmamo bhutva. You will be free from desires, you will be free from selfishness, and you will be free from all attachments. Ultimately, yudhyasva. Do all your duties. I will take care of you. I will ensure that you get success. I will ensure that everything goes well in your life. So this is the assurance which Krishna gives in Gita for all of us. And this is something which he has been proving in almost all Bhaktas' life. In the 11th shloka he says, Baturva gehi va yatirapi jati va taditaro naro va yah kaschit bhavatu bhavakim tena bhavati. Baturva, he might be a brahmachari, he might be a grihastha-ashrami, he might be in the vanaprastha-ashramam, he might be a sannyasi. How is it going to affect us? Baturva, Prahlada, Dhruva, all these kids were only kids. Dhruva was only 5 years old. But Krishna came to bless him. Narayana came to bless him. Gehiva, he might be a householder. It is not going to affect us. There are too many householders who have attained Krishna. Take the case of Tyagaraja Swami, Purandara Dasa, Bhadrachala Ramadasa, Tukaram Maharaj, Ghora Kumbha, Namdev Maharaj, Janabhai. Take the case of anyone. They have all attained Krishna. They have all attained Panduranga. They have all attained Shiva. They had to concentrate on Lord Shiva. That's all. They had to concentrate on Panduranga. That's all. He took care of their needs. So we need not think about that also. So people might say that if I am placed in this position, I will be able to think about God. And that is of no use. That is not going to help us at all. And if you have that thought in you, please delete it now. Please destroy it now. And this is a very, very important value which we must learn for our life also. Many people say that if at all I was placed in a good family, I would have achieved this. If at all I was placed in a rich family, I would have achieved many more things. If at all I was placed in a family which was culturally strong, I would have achieved many more things. I would have been a better person now. All these are not going to help us in the long run. If you take the crux of it, what really matters is who you are right now. It doesn't matter who you were previously or what your family background is. Who you are right now, what resources you have right now, and how best you are able to use those resources will ultimately matter. Because Ayogya Purushaha Nasti Yojakaha Tatra Durlabhaha. We have already seen this in our previous week's satsangam. Nobody is ayogya, nobody is incompetent. Ayogya Purushaha Nasti, Purusho Nasti Yojakaha Tatra Durlabhaha. The yojaka, the mix is what that matters. So we must ensure that the resources that we have is ultimately used effectively and efficiently to bring out the best possible results. We might have any resource. We might have the best of the resource or the most scarce resource. It doesn't matter. But we must ensure that we mix it properly in our life. And that is what all bhaktas have shown us throughout. If we look into our Sanatana Dharma, if we look at all the bhaktas' life, they have shown us this only. We might be in Brahmachari Ashrama, we might be in Grihastha Ashrama, that is not going to matter. In fact, it is said that only if you take up sannyasam, you will be able to attain Lord Shiva. Many people have this misconception. Many people say that only if you are given a conducive environment, you can think about Lord Shiva. But we have to understand that conducive environment will be created by Lord Shiva if you wish to have it. So your wish, your intention matters, your bhakti matters. It is not about the environment which you are placed in. It is about the mental disposition that you are placed in which matters. This is also explained by many bhaktas. Sant Dhyaneshwara sings in his Abham, Asoni samsari jihve vegu kari, 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 Veda Shastra ubhari bahya sada, Veda Shastra ubhari bahya sada, Veda Shastra ubhari bahya sada, Veda Shastra ubhari bahya sada. Vithala 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 Panduranga, Vithala 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 Panduranga, Vithala Vithala Shri Vithala 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 Panduranga, Vithala Vithala Shri Vithala 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 Panduranga. He says, Asoni samsari jihve vegu kari. What if you are a grihastha-ashrami? You might be in grihastha-ashrama. Samsari, you can carry on your household work. Asoni samsari, you can be here. Why are you complaining about it? When you have the option of constantly chanting his nama. Jihve vegu kari. Your mouth can constantly chant his nama. You can sing about him. And this is the easiest marga. Nama Sankirtanam is the most easiest path which is given to us by our ancestors. Then why should we go in search of other things? Why should we separately allocate 1 hour or 1.5 hours for meditation, yoga, other things? When you have Nama Sankirtanam, Jihve vegu kari. Your tongue can constantly chant his nama, Bruhi Mukundeti. Rasane Bruhi Mukundeti. We can chant his nama. Veda Shastra ubhari bahya sada. This is given to us by Veda and Shastra, and it opens its arm and says all those who follow this will be embraced. So Veda and Shastra also embraces such a bhakta, and Veda and Shastra also embraces this Nama Sankirtanam. So what should we do? Hari Mukhe Mana, 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 Punya Chiya Ganana Kaun Kari, Punya Chiya Ganana Kaun Kari, Punya Chiya Ganana Kaun Kari, Punya Chiya Ganana Kaun Kari. Vithala 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 Panduranga, Vithala 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 Panduranga. Hari Mukhe Mana. Why is this tongue given to us? Why is this mouth given to us? Hari Mukhe Mana, Hari Mukhe Mana. And Dhyaneshwar Maharaj sings it twice. Hari Mukhe Mana, Hari Mukhe Mana. Keep singing his nama, keep singing his nama, keep singing Hari Nama. Punyachi Ganana Kaun Kari. Will someone be able to count the punya that he has got by chanting Hari Nama? It is immeasurable, uncountable. It goes on forever. And we cannot be calculating all those things. Can we take a calculator and say, today I have chanted 4 namas. So, Bhagavan probably will give me this. Bhagavan will probably give me Swargaloka after I chant 10 namas. Bhagavan will probably give me a very good status if I chant 1000 namas. Bhagavan will probably give me 1 crore rupees if I chant this nama 1 crore times. Can this be calculated? Is it even possible? Is it even realistic in the real world? So, Punyachi Ganana Kaun Kari. We cannot calculate. And 1 nama is equal to 1 unit of punya. This is also not possible. Kaun Kari, who can calculate? Who will be able to take care of all these things? Like how we submit our life at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, Lord Hari, let us also submit this at his lotus feet. He will take care of our punya and papa. Why should we take care of all these things? And this Nama Sankirtanam is so very easily attainable, and this is the easiest path which is given to us, that देवाची द्वारी उभा क्षण भरी, देवाची द्वारी उभा क्षण भरी, तेने मुक्ती चारी साधी गेल्या, तेने मुक्ती चारी साधी गेल्या, तेने मुक्ती चारी साधी गेल्या, तेने मुक्ती चारी साधी गेल्या. विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग, विठ्ठल विठ्ठल जय जय विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग, विठ्ठल विठ्ठल जय जय विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग. देवाची या द्वारी उभा क्षण भरी. You say that you are engrossed in your daily activities, but you have to go to your office. You say that you are working. Let us consider that example. You are working. You are going to your office. On your way, you might find many temples. You will find many god and goddesses in those temples. You need not concentrate only on the road. You need not say that you will not look at either side of the road, but instead look at either side of the road. At least see them once. Even if you are not able to get down from your vehicle, remove your slippers, get into the temple and worship the deity. You can at least get down from your vehicle, offer your namaskarams to the deity, and you can start your journey. Or even if you are not able to get down from a vehicle, at least just look at that Lord. Because Devachiya Dwari Ubha Kshana Bhari. Because if you just stay there for a second, Devachiya Dwari, if you stop there at the door of a temple and just chant his Nama, Ubha Kshana Bhari, if you stand there and say his Nama, then he is the most compassionate deity, so he will give you all four kinds of mukti. Sayujyam, Sanipyam, Sarupyam and Sanidhyam. Tene mukti chari sadhi elya. He will give you all four kinds of mukti. You need not even think about it. All you have to say is Hari Hari, Shiva Shiva, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama. And when you are traveling to your office, on your way, you can do this. This is not a very difficult task. This is something which is easily attainable. So why don't you do it? Devachiya Dwari Ubha Kshana Bhari. Even if you stay there for a second, he gives this. Then why do you have to miss this opportunity? Whom has he blessed by just him chanting Harinama at his doorstep? Sant Chaukamela. He was not let into the temple. He was made to stand at the door of Panduranga temple. But standing there, he kept chanting Harinama. And he was blessed by Panduranga. He had to face an accident and he had to depart this mortal body. And in that construction site, when he had to depart, when he met with this accident, Panduranga orders everyone in the temple to go to that site and bring Chaukamela's bones or remains to the temple. Everybody had a doubt. How can we find which one is the bone or the remain of Sant Chaukamela? He just says, you go there, you will find it. And when they all go there, they all thought that a person from a lower caste will not be able to do bhakti. But Sant Chaukamela was immersed in bhakti to that extent where even after his soul departed this body remains kept chanting Panduranga Nama. It kept chanting Vithala 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 Panduranga, Vithala 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 Panduranga, Vithala 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 Panduranga, Vithala 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 Panduranga. It kept chanting his Nama. So they were able to easily identify the Asti, bones, remains. They were able to bring it here. And even now, this Asti is placed in front of Panduranga's temple and there is a stambam which is erected in front of Panduranga temple. So, Devachiya Dwari Ubhakshana Bhari. Even if you stand there for a second and chant his Nama, he will give you everything that you ask for. Even if you are a Grihasthashram. Now, the question is, for those who go to office, they have got a chance of looking at either side of the road and chanting Bhagavan Nama. What is the solution for those who stay in house? Those who are householders, probably housewife. What is the solution for them? If we look into Sant Janabai's life, then it is shown to us that even a person who is asked to carry out the household chores will be able to attend Panduranga. From the time when she gets up till the time when she sleeps, she has to carry on all the jobs of the house. She takes up every responsibility. She cleans, she sweeps, she washes the clothes, she washes utensils, she cooks for the family, she does everything for the family. But even if she did everything, she kept chanting Harinama, Panduranga Nama. She didn't have time to go to the temple like how Namdev Maharaj had time. Namdev Maharaj in fact stayed in the temple only. But Sant Janabai didn't have the opportunity. She had to be in the house. But every single thing that she did was offered to Panduranga. In fact, once, when she wanted to take the cow dung paste which was stuck on the wall, she found out that her neighborhood woman had taken 2 to 3 cow dung cake from her lot. So she started fighting with this woman. Namdev Maharaj had to come and he had to be as a judge to solve this issue. He asked one question, "Oh Janabhai, how will you say that this is yours?" She said, "Oh brother, if you listen, if you keep the cow dung cake near your ears, you will hear Vithala Nama, and that will be mine." Indeed, that cow dung cake chanted Vithala Nama, Hari Nama, and this woman had to give those which she stole from this house back to Janabhai. So this is the amount of Harinama which she has chanted that got transmitted from her body. Not only did her body, her entire muscles, tissues, skin, blood, bones chant Harinama, but also everything that she touched chanted Harinama. But she wanted to go to the temple. She couldn't. So Panduranga couldn't stay away from Janabhai. He came to her and he started helping her in all her household chores. He started cooking. He started washing utensils. He started cleaning the house. He started taking up all the responsibilities which Janabai had to do. Bhava bharam cha vahasi. This is what Adi Shankaracharya also says. Bhava bharam cha vahasi. If you have extra responsibility, don't get worried about it. Because this bhava bharam will also be taken up by him. He will ensure that this is put on his shoulder and he will ensure that you get extra time to chant his nama. Bhava bharam cha vahasi. Asoni samsari jihve vegu kari. So she kept chanting Harinama and she ultimately attained Panduranga. So these words are not given by Dhyaneshwar Maharaj. He says, Dhyana deva marne vyasachi khune. Dhyana deva marne vyasachi khune. Dwarakesha rana Pandava dhari. Dwarakesha rana Pandava dhari. Dwarakesha rana Pandava dhari. Vithala, 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 Panduranga. Vithala, 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 Panduranga. This is not given by Dhyaneshwar Maharaj. He says, I have told this, but I have taken extracts from Vyasacharya's text. He says, Vyasacharya was the one who wrote Mahabharatam. You all know that Dwarakecha Rana, Dwarakadhisha, Shri Krishna stayed in Pandava's house constantly. Dwarakecha Rana Pandava Ghari. He stayed in Pandava's house only. He was always staying there. So, this is not something which I am telling. This is something which is given by Vyasacharya himself in Mahabharatam. If you have some doubt, go and refer Mahabharatam. This is something which is true. So why don't you try this? Even the Pandavas were engrossed in their own Laukika activities. But Krishna came to them because they were constantly thinking about Krishna. So, Hari Mukhe Mana, Hari Mukhe Mana, Hari Mukhe Mana, Hari Mukhe Mana. Keep chanting his Nama. That is the only way out. And if you do so, then he becomes yours. Yadiyastvam yadiyam hrit padmam yadi bhavadadhinam pashupate. If this hrit padma is offered to you, if it becomes your servant, then tadiyaha tvam shambho bhavasi. Then you become his. Bhavabharam cha vahasi. You will take care of all their responsibilities. You will ensure that their Laukika responsibilities are taken care of. This is why Purandaradasa also sings in his Kirtana, Pandavara mane dolage kuduregale ta tolidu Pundarikakshana hulla tinisida Pandavara mane dolage kuduregale ta tolidu Pundarikakshana hulla tinisida Andajadhipa namma Purandara Vithalana Andajadhipa namma Purandara Vithalana Tondarige tondaragi ಸಂಚರಿಸುತ್ತಿಹನು ತೊಂಡರಿಗೆ ತೊಂಡರಾಗಿ ಸಂಚರಿಸುತ್ತಿಹನು ಹೂವ ತರುವರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹುಲ್ಲ ತರುವ ಅವಲ ಕುಮಿ ರಮಣ ಇವಗಿಲ್ಲ ಗರ್ವ ಪಾಂಡವರ ಮನೆದೊಳಗೆ ಕುದುರೆಗಳೇ ತಾ ತೊಳೆದು ಪುಂಡರೀಕಾಕ್ಷನ ಹುಲ್ಲ ತಿನಿಸಿದ. In Pandava's house, he came forward to feed the horses because he was Partha Sarathi. He had to ride all these horses. He had to be the charioteer. So he had to take care of those horses. He had to feed those horses also. ಕುದುರೆಗಳೇ ತಾ ತೊಳೆದು ಪುಂಡರೀಕಾಕ್ಷನ ಹುಲ್ಲ ತಿನಿಸಿದ. He gave grass to all those horses. But remember that he is the Andajadhipa. He is the Adhipati of this entire world. Namma Purandara Vithalana, he becomes Tondarige Tondanagi. He becomes the slave or he becomes the servant of his devotees. Tondarige Tondaragi. For all those who are his servant, he becomes their servant. Tondarige Tondaragi Sancharisutihanu. So that is his greatness. That will happen when you constantly think about him. This will happen when you constantly chant his Nama. In fact, Kunti Devi also says, Vipadas samtuna shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatyat apunar bhava darshanam. If I see you, then I need not see this bhava again. I need not face this samsaram again. So all these calamities that you give me is a boon for me because I keep thinking about you always. We always think about Bhagavan only when we are put in difficult situations. So Kunti Devi says, give me more calamities so that I can think about you always. And when I think about you always, you will ensure that you take care of me. You will ensure that you are there in my life always. So give me calamities. If I am given a good position, if I am given a good life, I will not think about you. This is something which will happen for everyone. Yoga Bhrashto Bhijayate. This Yoga Bhrashta is constant for everyone. Nobody can evade this. So instead of giving me happiness, give me sorrow. Give me calamities, give me disasters in life, so that let me cry, let me keep crying at your lotus feet, and let me constantly stay there in your lotus feet, at least by telling this reason. So she prays for calamities. She wants her mind to be in the lotus feet of Lord Krishna always. This is what even we have to ask. This is what we have to aim for ultimately. That's why it is said, Vyavasayatmika buddhi rekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantasha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. A person whose intellect is constantly fixed on me will ultimately have only one track. He will have one path and he will attain me. But for those whose goal is not fixed, might have many different streams. Bahushakha hyanantascha. They might have many alternatives. They might have many pleasures. They might have many things in front of them. The platter is huge. So they might have many different alternatives. So those people who do not have a constant goal might not have a constant mind, says Krishna in Gita. So here, intellect is being spoken about. All along, Adi Shankaracharya has been telling us that mana must be at the lotus feet of Shiva. But now Krishna says, buddhi must be steadfast. It must be a one-track devotion. It must be constantly focused on the lotus feet of Krishna. What is the difference? Now here we have to understand certain things. Mana finds its pleasure by engaging the indriyas in many things. If my mind likes to watch television, then it will instruct the eyes to watch television. If my mind likes to sit in any posture that it wants, then the body will sit in any posture that it wants in its house, probably. If the mind likes to listen to cinema songs, then the mind will instruct the ears to listen to cinema songs. But if a person has to be in office, he has to follow certain decorum. He has to follow certain rules. He cannot sit in any position that he likes. He cannot watch YouTube or Facebook in office. He has to work there. He cannot listen to cinema songs there. He cannot sing any other song there in office because he has to maintain some rules and decorum. So he will not be able to do it. Mind likes to watch television. Mind likes to watch movies. Mind likes to watch other things. But the intellect, the brain, restricts it from watching it, hearing it, or speaking about it in office. Why does it do so? Because buddhi is chanchalatmaka. It finds its pleasure in many things around it. Mana is chanchalatmaka. It finds its pleasure in many things around it. But buddhi is ultimately nishchayatmaka. It will decide which is right and which is wrong. So, mana must constantly be at his lotus feet. That will ultimately instruct buddhi also to be at his lotus feet. But if our mind goes here and there, even for a split second, our intellect must be strong enough to say that our path, our ultimate destination is Lord Shiva. Our ultimate destination is Lord Krishna. We must ultimately attain Him. We must ultimately reach Him. So we must not concentrate on other things. So, our Nishchayatmaka Buddhi and our Chanchalatmaka mind must be under our control. Our Nishchayatmaka Buddhi should have the capability to distinguish between what is right and wrong. And our Chanchalatmaka Mana should not be wavering here and there in Laukika Vishaya. It should be placed in Satsang Vishaya alone. And our mind must always take Satsanga Vishaya as the most important thing in life. It should always prioritize Satsanga Vishaya in life. And when that is done, and when we have this mental disposition, when we have this decisive power in us, when our intellect is strong, when our mind is strong, then we need not worry about the environment around us, because Lord Shiva will ensure that we get a conducive environment to think about Him. So, oh people, Jadamati, Jadadhiya, every one of you who think that external factors are important, please note that the internal mind, the intellect is what is important. So concentrate on them, on that. Work internally. Look into you. Look into yourself. See Lord Shiva in you. Find your happiness in Him. Find your happiness in you. And when this happens, then you can take any form. It need not be a human form, it need not be a deva form, it need not be an animal form, it can be a bird form, it can be any form. That is not going to matter. You might be in any ashrama, you can carry out any lifestyle. That is not going to matter.